Hey everybody, it's your girl Jay and I'm back with a new video. Before we get started, like, comment, subscribe, show me some love because I'm about to give y'all the real on what happens after giving birth. So stay tuned. Alright, so this is my list of 5 things that they don't tell you after you give birth. Who they is, I don't know, but these are things that they don't tell you after you give birth or before you give birth, about after you give birth. So, number 1 is lochia. That is what they call the initial bleeding right after you give birth, and this lasts for up to 6 weeks. That's why they say stay clear of any physical activity, any strenuous activity, sex, no putting anything in there while you're bleeding, because you still have an open wound that is your uterus, and you're just told to steer clear of anything that'll give you an infection, basically. But this lochia stuff now, this stuff is some pretty dank stuff. You know, I felt very accomplished that I gave birth. I had a C-section, but either way, I dealt with lochia, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, I dealt with that, and boy, that's some pretty dank stuff. Like, even a lot of moms just complain about the smell, like, after, but that's all normal. I don't know why it's like that, but that's something that they don't tell you after you give birth. They say, oh, watch out for the clots and heavy bleeding beyond the first 2 weeks. But they don't tell you that the lochia smelling a little funny is normal too. I mean, 9 months without shedding your uterine lining, that would cause some backup. Because imagine the other end just being backed up forever. You will pass fossils out of there. But yeah, so that is normal. As long as it doesn't have any, like, if you have like a C-section, as long as your wound is healing properly and it's not like oozing any pus or anything like that, then you should be good. You know, if you ever have any concerns, I am by no means a doctor. So if you ever have any concerns or any questions specifically for someone in the medical field, I think that you should check it out. You know, if you feel like anything feels irritated or you just feel like you have an infection, despite it being kind of normal for it to have a little odor, you know, do you. Make sure you, because that's your body. You got to live with you. So make sure you good before anybody else. Okay, so there's lochia. Oof. Anyway, the next one is you may not get a period for months after the initial bleeding is done. So for me, the reason for this is because breastfeeding. And some people, it doesn't happen right away after, or you don't know when it's going to happen after, because your hormones are re-regulating themselves. You just were under these hormones of holding off a period for 9-10 months, and now you're trying to get back on track of shedding each month. So your body kind of had some shock once you gave birth. So, you know, you gotta give yourself time. If it don't happen right away, don't panic. Just stay protected if you ain't trying to have no back-to-back Irish twins. But as far as that, I didn't get my period until my baby was about 6 months, around that. So it was beautiful. No periods for that long. overall, that was a whole year of no periods, because from my conception, I conceived last September 2019 to September 2020. That was a whole year of no periods, and it was so amazing. Oh, like, honestly, periods, I wish that they would go away on their own. So that brings me to my next point, number 3, breastfeeding. What they don't tell you about after you give birth and breastfeeding. Once you start breastfeeding, every time it's going to make your uterus contract because of hormones again. And as you're withdrawing milk from your breast to feed your baby or pump, whatever, it's causing your uterus to contract to help it go down, because, you know, it swelled up to a big watermelon size. And now it's like a little empty bag, empty cantaloupe bag, or, you know, it's smaller than a watermelon. And it has to get back down to the small little pouch that it was before working itself up. So this helps your uterus contract, and it essentially is supposed to help you heal faster from the afterbirth shock. So that's something that they don't tell you. It caught me off guard after my firstborn, because they used to be very painful contractions. Like, it's one thing if you're giving birth naturally to deal with those contractions, because I remember them and how they felt. Oh, the burning, the tense. Oh, I hated it. That was literally the worst part. That's the worst part of giving birth, in my opinion, the contractions, because it's just so long and you don't know when they're gonna end, and you just have to go through it as a process of getting your baby out. So just to deal with that for however many hours, I had 19 hours of contractions to turn around and deal with it again for like probably up to a week after you give birth. It's just like torture. Bringing life in this world is not easy at all. It's not for the weak-hearted, but you know, they make pain meds for that. So yeah, you do what you deem fit. I didn't take any after my firstborn. I just dealt with the contractions. My secondborn, I had the C-section, so I took a few pain meds in the hospital. But once I got out, I just took Tylenol, because I didn't like how the Percocets were making me feel. Like, I just felt like I was always like felt high or just really drowsy, and I used to just doze off in the middle of a conversation. And you know, that's something I didn't really like, so I just threw those out. And also, my second half of number 3 is weight gain. Breastfeeding, weight gain, because sometimes people lose weight breastfeeding, and sometimes also people lose weight right after birth if they're not breastfeeding. Whatever way it goes. These pictures you see people online with the snapback pictures, that happens, but also people do gain weight after giving birth. And it's not necessarily a fault of their own, but a lot that comes with new motherhood, like the lack of sleep and the recovery and all of these things. And you're not able to really work out, so, or you may not have time to even work out even after the initial 6 weeks. So that causes weight gain. And breastfeeding, you know, you're burning calories, so your body is trying to make up for those calories it lost, because you're using energy and you need it back. So that causes weight gain as well. I mean, I personally, each time I breastfed both my boys, I gained weight. I got it back off after I was done breastfeeding, which was after a year of breastfeeding. Well, I would say 18 months, because I used to do it on and off in between, but 18 months is when I finally started to lose the weight after I gave birth. So yeah, it's a process, but in the end, you'll have time to really come back into yourself. It's just the beginning stages, you're a mom, and that kind of takes over. But don't beat yourself up if you gain weight, because there's people that lose some, there's people that gain some. Whichever way it falls, you just brought life into this world. So kudos to you. Number 4 now is one that doesn't happen for everybody, but it happened to me. And your feet may get bigger. So your shoes, even during pregnancy, if you gain weight, like a significant amount, they might get tighter. And I think it's all because of your body loosening up and your bones are stretching due to hormones. Your bones are like separating at the cartilage to make space for the baby. And because of this, that doesn't only apply to your rib cage area around the baby, it applies to your whole body. So because of this, your feet also may stretch. And you might go up a size or a half size, whatever it may be. And that's all perfectly normal. You know, that's all part of the process. So there's that. And number 5 is a big one for me. Memory loss. I have tried to research on this and see what is the reason. I haven't had any clear answers on why you start to lose short-term and some long-term memory when you're pregnant and after you give birth. And I think that is all, it's absent-mindedness, just you thinking about baby this and baby that. I have to do these things for the baby. But scientifically, only thing I came up with from my research is that white matter, it increases or decreases, one of those, in your brain. I don't know the reason. All I know is that is something that happens to a lot of pregnant moms and after birth. The memory loss, I literally have to write down anything I have to do. Like if I have to go to the grocery store, or if I have to remember something for later, I have to write it down because my memory is shot. And I think it gets worse after each kid you have, because after my first, it was pretty moderately bad. Like I can remember certain things, like if I have to do something, but it was mostly like I come in a room and I don't remember what I'm in there for. And you know, those type of things. But now, short-term memory, like I cannot remember things. If I have to go and get something, I'll go in the direction, halfway there, I won't remember why I'm walking this way, you know? So it's bad. And I try to be proactive in a sense and write down things, and that may help those of you who are dealing with memory loss after giving birth. Just try to write down things as you remember or think of them, so that when it comes down to it, you won't be like, gosh, I was supposed to do something, I can't remember. You know, that definitely does help. So yeah, that's my 5 things. If you enjoyed my video, like, comment, subscribe, show me love. I'll be back with another one just like it. See ya.